What's going on, bro?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And what's going on, Ysanne? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So we're going to do a quick introduction. This is to how it looks to my screen right now. To the left of me is the legendary former iHeartMedia program director, host, um, mogul, whatever you want to call them, Kwame Dankwa. And then to the other side of me, I have the magnificent, the brilliant, the one of the greatest, and I'm just putting this into existence, the greatest R&B neo soul artist plus more, Eastside. So I hope I didn't go. Did I go too high? Because I feel like I look at you guys as the greatest.
I
Uh,
appreciate you.
yes, I appreciate that energy as well. I will receive said energy, sir.
All of that.
Yes, yes. So Kwame, quick intro. Eastside, quick intro.
Ladies first.
Okay.
Yes, you know what? You're right. I should. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So singer-songwriter is what most people know me as. I also broadened out my services recently to, of course, live performances, artist advocacy, stage rental, and event coordinating. So wearing a lot of hats, and yeah, I'm just woman of many hats, but I can always assist if you're willing.
Word, word. Honestly, you do everything because video work too. Awesome at video work.
Those are just little things that help in the time that goes by.
Word, word, word. Kwame, your turn, sir.
My name is Kwame. I've been made a career out of running radio brands. As for the past 10 years, I've been running stations. I've worked in Vermont. I've worked in Seattle, Washington, Memphis, Tennessee, and recently in Portland, Maine. And my strengths are building radio brands and the people on them as individuals themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
keeping radio powerful on air as well as online with streaming apps and getting music to the general public. And currently, I'm enjoying my hiatus, drinking my invisible martini.
I feel that, bro. I feel that. Oh man. So much on the table for today. One of the things I wanted to bring up, and I actually talked to you guys separately on this subject. Um, Friday, something interesting happened. So
Yes.
there was a new video that came out, and usually there's always a new video that comes out on a Friday, but for some reason this video has the nation torn, whatever you want to call it. Everybody talking about this video. For the people that are listening, watching right now on IG Live, and then for the future IGTV and YouTube, we're talking about this Little Nas X video.
Mm.
Yeah. So a lot of people have their own opinions on it. A lot of people are offended. So, what are your guys' first thoughts on what you saw?
I didn't see the whole thing yet. I've seen glimpses um,
Mm-hmm.
of it. I guess I guess because of all the controversy. And I'm usually late to the trend, but I know that in terms of the images I saw was, to creative, expression is open to
Mm-hmm.
everyone, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, Also, us putting certain energy in certain people and certain, it's what you
Mm-hmm.
also intake as well. So, hey, that's what I say, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Kwame, what's your thoughts, real quick?
I could see where it could rub some people the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we are only now coming into a point we are starting to question what we were told to not question before. My grandmother, God rest her soul, was a Bible thumping woman to the extreme. She was so extreme with the Bible thumping that what we would call a religious extremist would probably say, "Oh, that lady is way into the Bible," and I would ask questions about the Bible and why religious people said certain things, and I was told not to question the Lord. Well, I wasn't asking the Lord the question. I'm asking you because I can't talk to him. Now we are at a point where, and also looking at Lil Nas X, once upon a time, 10 years ago, the debate was who is the gay rapper and would he be able to come out and would he be able to dominate? And
You know
now
what's crazy? We actually did talk about this in college.
yes,
Because the industry always had, down low rappers, on the down low, like always.
yes, people on the down low, but now he's here, he's out, he's loud and proud, and not only does he have to challenge that status quo, but he also is faced with the burden of being the first openly gay rapper to actually make it. He had one big hit, and now he has to do it again. So there are all of these different things in this cocktail that has to be stirred around here that we have to swallow.
Mm. And honestly, because just like your grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, heavy into the church, heavy into religion and whatnot. So I'm going to keep it real with you. I have not even watched the full video yet, but the thing that got me stored up a little bit was the sneakers. The sneakers saying it's containing blood. That's the thing. And then also the Bible scripture of, Luke 10, 18. And for anybody that's, into, religion heavy and whatnot, you understand, what that scripture is saying. So it's just that kind of grabbed my attention. But the thing that really, because again, everybody has their own artistic point of view and whatnot. The kids. What's your thoughts on the kids seeing this video on YouTube? What's your thoughts?
Ladies first again.
Ah! So, I mean...
And shout out to Juicy J Juice Bar. Anna, I see you guys on the live. All of y'all. Future X, I see all you guys.
So, okay, so you're saying what about the children watching this? I mean...
Yes.
That's on their parents, and I mean they're gonna probably watch it anyways. So there's probably certain conversations that need to be brought up. So in terms of the kids in the household itself in the beginning, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It may end up being able to bring a conversation if the kid ends up watching it, or you know what I'm saying, in terms of maybe. Or there was a conversation that the child had with the parent that now the child is able to decipher when watching or have their own opinion instead of being gravitated and falling into whatever may have been shown or shared. At the end of the day, I still had my own access to certain things if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So it's also, you can't really stop your kids or the children from not watching something when they're more advanced in technology than you anyways. You know what I'm saying? So it's just you might this might create conversation for the adult to be more prepared, you know what I'm saying, into having a conversation, because at the end of the day, it's not going to stop. The artistic expressions and someone else's opinion is not going to stop. You've got to kind of look within and see how you're going to respond to it and not be mad at it because it's going to happen. It's not the first time that there's going to be a controversial video,
I've got a couple of things I'm glad that you brought up the conversation, but I was actually having a conversation with someone very close to me the other day, and she was talking about her children and how certain things that people see on the internet, now, once upon a time in the book 1984, they talked about people showcasing live deaths on television. We never thought we would see that, but now we can see it. Everyone saw the George Floyd video. Everyone is being exposed to things, and now the uncomfortable conversations that parents once upon a time didn't want to have or didn't have to have because they didn't want to be held accountable for their child's view of life. They didn't want to pass that. They wanted to be able to pass that buck. Now that the chickens have come to roost on these things, And it really is up to them to have these uncomfortable conversations. So that is one thing, especially with the internet and everyone having access. There's no real way to filter anyone's lens, because when you get out there in a rude awakening, it's a rude awakening when you get out there and you're exposed to it. If you don't have a phone, your friend has a phone, you're going to see it and you're going to say, Mom, I saw this. What are they going to say? Well, you can't hang out with this friend anymore. And then you get another group of friends and then you're exposed to that. Also, I want to point out one key thing about this very simply. Another associate of mine, we were talking about, like, going back to Lil Nas X being gay. And this is very important. You know, I'm looking at this through the lens of someone that is far away from the situation. Like, I don't have a horse in the race in that matter, but there is still a thought in the 21st century that people will completely emulate or blindly follow what they do. A friend of mine actually said, well, now everyone thinks it's cool to be gay or cool to be trans. I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? And they said, oh, yeah.
Like how, like, in the 90s, it was cool to be, you know, a gang member, or, like, you know, like, pretty much super hood. Like, basically, is a trend you're trying to say.
Yeah, that this person is saying that it was a trend. Now, we all three of us on this call right now are members of minority groups, you know?
Yes.
But we didn't choose that life. And maybe, you know, but no one would voluntarily choose to live in and be a part of a group that is discriminated against. Like, those are choices that people cannot make. So when people insinuate that seeing a video like this or being exposed to things like, what is the RuPaul show, Drag Race, that people will think it is cool and want to emulate it. No, the people that are in these lifestyles, these are not really choices that they made. So the only thing they can do is make the best of their life. You know, and Lil Nas X, he said in a quote, I'm going to read.
Okay.
Okay, so he said in this quote, for my entire life, I have lived under the assumption that me being gay was going to send me to a literal hell that people proved. And now that I'm older, don't think that I'm not going to question these things. And he has a platform to question this. And there are people that are scared to live. There are people that are killing themselves because they think that they are condemned because we, as people that grew up in religion and in the church, we say you are condemned to a hell for being this way. But we also grew up in the same church that told us God makes no mistakes. So which one is it? And so, you know, so now the biggest uproar is, oh my God, he's wearing boots. He's twerking in the lap of the devil. Like, what is this saying to our children? But we're telling our children that if you don't do A, B, and C, you're going to go to this dark place, and this man that's all dressed up in red is going to burn you for the rest of your life. When we always tell our children to tell the truth. We tell them to live our life in the Lord's image, but we have never seen the Lord. And so Lil Nas X is trying to, in essence, help free other people that had to go through what he went through, hating himself, because in another parallel world, this guy isn't even alive. He probably killed himself if there was a parallel universe, because he thinks that he is so unaccepted and he is a mistake and he shouldn't be this way, but he was created by the God that makes no mistakes. And it's a paradox that he can't put in a box because he's living in cognitive dissonance. And I think that's the point of where he's at.
Amen.
I didn't mean to get on the
I just wanted to hear you guys' opinion on this, because this has been like a heavy conversation over the weekend, and now okay, I hear all the point of views, but I feel like, okay, there's artists. Now I'm going to bring it to a different level. Now there's artists that all they care about is money, And then now there's artists that care about the money, but also care about what they're putting out. So I feel like in Little Nas X life and whatnot, rock out, do what you got to do. But my thing is, think about the message for the kids too.
Right.
Am I right or wrong? Think about the message for the kids, because the same person that did Old Town Road is the same person that's doing this. So it's like, okay, I get it's artistry, but think about the kids, because when
knowing your impact, knowing your impact makes a difference on your platform, and I feel like that should give them responsibility, but it doesn't have to hold them accountable, because we're the ones who also put them there. We're the ones buying them their records or watching, certain stuff. So yes, it is. It's like, yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's one thing for a high schooler and an adult to go to like an Ozzy Osbourne concert, whatever. Is your choice. Bone Thugs and Harmony, 3 6 Mafia is your choice. But as a kid, it's like being exposed to stuff that's so young. You like it. That's young. That's super. You get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah,
Super
and
young.
again, I still feel that it does go back to the home base too, because as you said, they're children. When I'm thinking of kids and children, I'm thinking like 10 and under, 12, 13 under. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, is their parents literally having them sit in front of a TV or giving them a tablet, you know what I'm saying, to do whatever? I know at that age, I was outside doing something, you know what I'm saying? So it depends on what's available for the family. Maybe they need extra resources. Now that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of depends what's going on, because you don't know each family's situation. Maybe they're not able to. Maybe there needs to be other resources for them not have access to so much freedom for them to see that. There's so many different conversations that can lead to, but it does go to the family to a certain extent. And now, do they have resources? Just me saying.
Working in media, I can tell you that content is not created. The only content that is created for children is content that's literally created for children. Like the music that we have now that you hear kids sing, they don't even know what any of that stuff means. And when they do, or they start asking questions, you just got to be prepared to answer it, because let's face it, content is made for people that consume. Consumers have money. Children cannot work. Therefore, it is not targeted towards them. They have no resources. They are a human being that you borrow until they're 23, and then they're out in the world. Like when I'm looking at ratings, the ratings that I'm concerned with are 25 to 54 women, because they control the money in the household, 25 to 54 persons because they are making the money, and then 18 to 25, or maybe 18 to 36, because I want to see how many new people are graduating into adulthood that are still consuming my product. If you don't have money, I am not really thinking about you in my creation or in my, I'm not here to be the moral police. Like what it all. Oh,
I gotta go get some more bags. So I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Great conversation. I'm gonna hit you later.
Ysanne.
Bye.
It was nice meeting you.
You as well. We'll connect.
All right.
So Kwame, just to wrap up and whatnot, I think parents, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna be floating around. It's 2021. You're gonna see everything. So it's a bigger duty on the parents, the adults. I feel like the artist always has responsibility, but there's some artists, they're not going to think of, okay, what the message is. But there's some artists that's just like, yo, let me just get this money. However, let me do what I got to do to get the money. So now is a bigger responsibility on the parents and the adults, just to set that example of just protection, in a sense, from whatever is going on any level. You get what I'm saying?
And I guess that's the main debate. Like, every parent wants to protect their child from what they see as a threat.
Yeah.
schools, the number one thing about going to school, the number one agenda that every school has is keeping children safe. Then educating them is number two, because they have to be kept safe to be educated. You can't learn under
Yeah.
duress.
Mm-hmm.
But however, to protect is to inform, because if you don't know, then you could end up in a bad situation. If you're sheltered, then you're not going to know what's out there. When you're out there, then you get caught up and you're like, oh my God, how come no one ever told me these things? And that can create bitterness, because if you don't talk to your children and you just have them in the house and then they go out in the world and they find out there were all these dangers that you never want to talk to them about, that can create some type of bitterness. And I think a lot of times we, as I look at a lot of my counterparts who were parents, and even these are conversations that I've had with my mother too, and they were uncomfortable, that parents put their responsibility in everyone else's hands, whether it's the schools or the church. Like, parents are upset because during a pandemic, the schools say we cannot realistically keep your children safe. And now they have to sit at home and they work with their kids. And now they realize that they don't even like the kids they created because they're spending more time with them. And these are the realizations that people are having. So, and along with the uncomfortable conversations, Lil Nas X isn't going to be the last artist that is going to challenge where people stand. And the sneakers, if you don't like the sneakers, if you don't want to support something, don't buy them. Shout out to DJ Michelle B said parents also have a responsibility. Yeah, we oftentimes we like to push our responsibilities on other people. That's my take on that. Easy.
Bro, thank you for just joining this conversation. Any comments, questions, concerns, DM me or email me at bookearlbeeasy@gmail.com. And for just, more subjects, just hit us up and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. But this is the one that was like really getting everybody upset, everything. So we had to talk about this real quick. And I appreciate you, bro. And we're gonna do this. Well, at least you're gonna come on twice a month, right? Just to put in your 2 cents.
Just you let me know. I'm chilling on extended vacation.
Yo, blessings, bro. Blessings, yo. And blessings to everybody that's, watching and just typing in and whatnot. And, this is part 1 of today's, podcast recording. Technically, we're going live right now. And shout out to Future X. We're about to do the interview with him, and he has some new music. And also shout out to him getting recognized by the Source magazine. Kid from Hartford, Connecticut, getting some recognition. So that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, we'll be back, guys. Peace and blessings.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.